In this video, I'm gonna model this Stylize Bridge for you. To start, I'm press on my cube and press delete as always. Then I'm going to -y and add image reference and find my image. This is the bridge I want to model, and then I press load reference image. I want to moving it back, so I use the move tools or GY and GZ for moving it up. And at first I want to model this arc, so I'm going to add mesh and add a circle because circle have arc, and then go to the edit mode, and I want to rotate it 90 degree, and this much I think is enough. I go to the rotate and press 90. Okay, then I go to the -y again and or front view and move my circle down. I want these vertices, so I'm going to select these vertices and delete these vertices. For making this arc from this edge, I'm going to select the extrude tools, use the extrude once, and press L on this face, and then use extrude twice, and this is the arc that I want. Then I press L on this whole arc column and then moving it forward. And I want to mirror my object, so I go to the modifier, add, generate, mirror, and I want to mirror it along the Y, so I press on Y and deactivate the X. And this is exactly what I want. But I am moving it backward a little. And now this is, I want to model this column. So first I add a cube to the scene. Use the scale tools to scale it. Go to the Z axis, moving it at the position that I want. And this is the position. Back to the perspective mode. And then I go to the -y. Go to the wireframe, use the rotate tools to rotate it. So making it tilted. Okay. Now I select this face selection, select this face, and from global I go to the normal axis and use the move tools to move it along the normal. And this much is, I think, enough. Okay, now I can select the whole cube and go to the mesh, symmetrize, and go to the setting from +X to -X. And I created these columns. For this arc, I can select on this face and control select on this face. Use the duplicate, mesh, duplicate, or press shortcut Shift D, and then press Z shortcut to moving it along the Z axis. And I can scale it along the X axis a little to going into the column, and then use the extrude tool to make a fold from it. And I think this face is a little too much, so I press on move tools and activate the X symmetry and moving it along the normal. I think this is good. So I add another cube for this column, add cube, scale it down again, go to the Z axis, use the move tools to moving it here, and I can also press S to scale it down and moving it up. And if I compared my image to this, I think the scale is a little too much, so I scale it down a little and moving it. Then I press on face and moving the face up. Okay, I can go to the -y, press L on this column, activate the wireframe, use the Shift D to moving it here, and use the rotate tools to rotate it a little and put it at the position that I think is fine. Then I can press on this face and press move tools or G and moving it in into the column. And then I can also press delete to delete the face. Then I can press on this column and once again mesh symmetrize. Okay, and what's left is these steps, and these steps also can created by the cube. But before that I need to apply my mirror, so I go to the object mode, click on this arrow and press apply, and then I go to the edit mode again, add another cube, scale it down because it's too much to stuck to here and here. Then I scale it along the Z or SZ, and scale it along the X. Before I continue, it's better to have a floor here, so I go to the object mode, add mesh plane to add a floor, and then use the S shortcut to scale it up. And I also move my image a little along the Z axis. And then I press on my object again, moving my object also a little, or press GZ, and then go to the edit mode to continue on creating our steps. I scale it down a little, then I use the move tools to move it forward. But for this action is the reason of my x-axis symmetry, so I'm going to back, deactivate the x symmetry, and then moving it forward. Then I'll go to the -y wireframe, and as in the image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to the top, so I'm going to decrease the size of my steps approximately so that I can create 5 steps to here, and I think this size is alright. So I L on these steps and use the scale tools to scale it a little more. Then I use the rotate again, and this time I think the size is good. I place it here, shift D, duplicate it, rotate it a little, and moving it down, shift D again. You can also use the R shortcut to rotate the steps, and this with R can model faster. Once again, shift D to duplicate it, or mesh duplicate, and I'll use the R to rotate it. And the last steps is gonna be horizontal, so I rotate it so that it be exactly horizontal. And our steps didn't reach the top steps, so I'm going to press L, 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 and L to select the whole steps. Use the scale tool, so scale it a little along the x-axis. Then I can press on my steps and moving it down, or press GZ to making it exactly at the position that I want. Now I can press L, 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 go to the mesh, symmetrize to make the steps. If you want to add material like this, you can go to the material, new, and press on this eyedropper and use your image for creating the color, and for seeing it you can go to the material preview. You can also doing it for the floor, so I'm going to add another material, eyedropper, press on floor, and as you can see my bridge is a little edgy. If you want to making it smooth, you can press on object, go to the edit mode, on edge selection, deactivate all the thing that you selected, then go to the select sharp edge, and right click and add an edge crease, and if I drag my mouse the color is gonna change. I usually put the number 0.95. Then I go to the modifier, add modifier, generate subdivision surface, and if I go to the object mode and increase the number of my level, you can see that the edge is gonna be smooth. You can also right click and click on shade smooth to smooth it a little more. And this is my stylized bridge, and I think what I made right now is cuter than the bridge of the image. So here we go. I hope you like this video, and if it is useful to you, you can as always subscribe and like. See you on the next practical video.